Welcome to Cotherman Distilling. Today is Sunday, the 21st of July, and we're doing some molasses settling and preparation trials. So you'll see here we got some molasses. So we have two different kinds of molasses. We have our feed grade molasses. I grabbed some out of our tote, which is sitting up there. And we also have some Barkman's Old Country light unsulfured molasses that I've had sitting around for probably 5 years that I happened to find the other day, so I threw it into the test also. So what we did was I made a little spreadsheet, which I will link to on here, and then I took a measured amount of molasses, in this case 250 grams, measured it in this, and then we added 200 milliliters of water to that. Then on all but one of these I added my settling chemicals, which are the citric acid, ammonium sulfate, and monocalcium phosphate. See it in there. So I did the grams. I was measuring them down because it's such a small amount that I needed to do 1.2 grams each of the citric acid and ammonium sulfate. That worked out to being a quarter teaspoon level on the ammonium sulfate and heaping on the citric acid, and then about a third of this 1/8 teaspoon of the sulfate to get to 0.2 grams. I have a 0.001 gram scale coming, but I didn't have that, so we just improvised. So we added those and we microwaved. It turned out at 2 minutes and 25 seconds is about the perfect temperature to get it to 176 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 80 degrees C, which is recommended by Arroyo. Then I stirred really well and poured them in these settling containers. We're going to let them go for about 6 hours. It took about 10-15 minutes for each one of these, so we're walking through time as we come here to these, watching them settle, and you'll see all the stuff settling out at the bottom of the feed grade molasses. You won't see any settling out of the food grade molasses. But the feed grade molasses is 7 cents a pound, and the food grade is, well, that jug probably costs $10. So that's over $1 a pound. So you see 7 cents versus $1. It's worth doing the work to do this settling out of the non-fermentables, ash, gums, all sorts of stuff in there. Also, heating to the 176 does a pasteurization process to kill any organic bugs that happen to be in there that'll compete with our yeast. So I have a little chart, like I said, that's attached to this, or will be. We're going to do some experiments. So the first one is just a test trial basis. It'll be done with 0.2 grams of D022 yeast. The second one will be done with a full gram. So we'll do a 5-to-1 yeast, and we'll watch the time it takes to ferment and the pH changes and if it gets infected or anything like that. The next two, we're going to use some Red Star yeast, and we'll do that in a 0.2 and the 1.0 grams also. And then we'll go back to the D22 yeast. We'll do the, both of these will be probably somewhere between the 0.2 grams and the 1.0, depending on how these other ones are looking. But it'll probably be around the 0.2 grams. The one on the left doesn't have any chemicals in it. The one on the right does. So we'll be paying attention in 6 hours here if any sediment does form, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any. And then from this data, we'll rig up another 5 or 6 tests to run. And what our goal is to get the quickest, cleanest fermentation with the right amount of yeast and least expenses possible when we step this up to 1,000 times the scale for the 1,000-liter batches. These will be fermented in Erlenmeyer flasks. They should be here tomorrow. So these will probably settle more than 6 hours. They'll probably settle overnight. And in the Amazon, I got a 6-pack of the 1-liter flasks coming. So they're basically like that guy back there. We'll ferment it in all those. They're all fermenting alike. Cotherman Distilling out.